This is the CBS 58 News at 9 on the M.
This is clearly not the way we anticipate or prepared for our season to end, but I think it's more of a credit to the Falcons, and frankly, we ran out of gas.
The Packers fall flat, ending the season with a loss, one game short of the Super Bowl. Instead, it'll be Atlanta Falcons heading to Houston for the Super Bowl. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Amanda Porterfield.
I'm Eric Levy. Thank you for joining us. Green Bay got further than many people thought, especially when the Packers were 4-6. We're covering it from all angles. Team coverage. Earl Arms will be in the Sport Zone shortly. Jacob Kittelstadt is getting reaction from fans.
And we're going to begin tonight with Sports Director Kevin Holden, along with Scott Grodzki at the Georgia Dome in Atlanta.
Yeah, guys, the end of any Packers season is definitely painful, especially when it comes this close to the Super Bowl. I guess the one way it isn't painful is with the Super Bowl win. But, Scott, they were 4-6 and came so far, one win away from the Super Bowl. So pretty nice ride here.
It was an incredible ride, but the Packers do go from run the table to just getting run over here in Atlanta, and you could sort of see it on the players' faces as they were walking off the field. All that moral win of doing 8 in a row and getting the NFC Championship game, it doesn't matter anymore once you lose the way they lost here in Atlanta. Part of that pain was getting down big early in this game, something you can't do in someone else's house. By halftime, the Falcons had offensive momentum and major crowd noise, while the Packers still hadn't scored a point. It was the first time in the Aaron Rodgers era the Green Bay Packers trailed by 24 or more at the half, a hole that they could not climb out of.
If this has taught us anything, it's how important that home field advantage is. Being able to sleep in your own bed and practice and not have to travel, and then have the fan support, it makes a big difference. We've played in 3 of these now and all on the road. It's tough to win on the road.
Such a rarity to see Aaron Rodgers and the offense struggle in any game, but especially one of this magnitude.
Yeah, they moved the ball well early in the game, Scott, but a fumble and a missed field goal ruined what would have been a pretty good comeback story. Jordy Nelson beat very long odds just to get on the field today with the 2 broken ribs. To make the impact he did was one of the gutsiest performances you'll ever see, and it got Aaron Rodgers' allergies stirred up as he addressed the media after the game.
Yeah, I'm so proud of Jordy. It's incredible that he was out there.
You prepare to play, so all along I was planning on it all the way back from the Giants game, to be honest with you. So I was able to get the nod and go out there and play.
Jordy played, but the injury bug was too much to overcome, especially on defense, Scott.
Yeah, and when Kentrell Bryce got hurt on the opening kickoff, that set the tone, because if there's one spot the Packers can't afford another injury, it was the secondary. The Packers were limping while the Falcons were flying high, racking up nearly 500 yards of total offense. It was a whipping that just added to the pain and exhaustion of a very long season.
Anytime you lose, especially this far in the playoffs, it's a difficult pill to swallow. Especially with the turnaround we had in the season, you start to think this is a team of destiny, especially with how we've been able to run through some good teams. But we ran out of gas and unfortunately couldn't find an answer to get their offense out of rhythm. And, ultimately they made the plays and we didn't make very many.
So for the second time in 3 seasons, the Packers end just 1 game short of the Super Bowl.
And these bad endings to seasons are for the birds, literally. The Seahawks 2 years ago, the Cardinals last season, the Falcons to end this season. We're going to call this an avian aversion in the Packers playoffs. We have a lot more with the Pack coming up later in the show. Live in Atlanta, Scott Grodzki, Kevin Holden, CBS 58 News.
For the birds is right. All right, Kevin, Scott, thank you very much. Earl Arms is with us in the Sports Zone. Earl, Coach Mike McCarthy said his team just flat out didn't play well.
That's right, Amanda. It was unlike the last 8 games the Packers played. Of course, they won those games, but the Packers with as many turnovers this game as they had during the 8-game win streak. That would be 2. And Aaron Rodgers, well, he threw an interception, Aaron Rokowski, with an untimely fumble in the first half of the Packers. Well, they're not able to score until the second half. Meanwhile, the Falcons put up almost 500 yards of offense, so the Packers could not overcome that. They could not overcome the injuries that they suffered up until this point. Coach Mike McCarthy admitting this team just simply ran out of gas.
We're one tough football team. It's a great group to coach. We didn't play our best football today. We didn't overcome the things we needed to overcome, and Atlanta played great.
Yeah, they did, starting with Julio Jones, your all-world receiver, showing exactly why. 180 yards, 2 touchdowns on 9 catches, including a 79-yarder right here in the third quarter. Of course, the guy throwing the ball, well, he's pretty good too. Matt Ryan with 4 touchdowns in the air, 1 on the ground, over 400 total yards for him, showing why he could be the league's MVP.
I thought he played great today. I thought he played great in Week 8 against us. He's had a tremendous year, so there's definitely a reason why. I mean, he's up for the MVP. I think he's a tremendous player.
Still, though, after starting the season 4-6 to win 8 straight games, a major accomplishment. And none of us thought a couple of months ago the Packers would be in this position, 1 game away from the Super Bowl. So one heck of a ride by the Packers.
All right, Earl, thank you so much. CBS 58's Jacob Kittelstadt is in Waukesha right now as the green and gold faithful deal with tonight's painful loss. Jacob?
Obviously, the fans out here at Neighbors Bar and Grill in Waukesha are taking this loss pretty hard. First of all, they're just disappointed that the game wasn't competitive. And second, they're sad that the Packers season had to end this way. As the game entered halftime, Packers 24 points down. Nate Walters takes off his sweatshirt. He's the groom in an upcoming wedding. His Packer fanatic bride has a matching shirt.
Yes, she is a good luck charm.
But as she looks at her engagement ring,
if I could trade this in for a Super Bowl ring, I would. But I wore this shirt, the same shirt, the last 3 games. So I have to wear it again. I don't care about the wedding, whatever, the year. I love Devontae Adams, but.
You don't care about the wedding?
No, at this point, no.
That desperation seemed to become the theme of the game that just seemed to get worse.
We're getting torn up on zone coverage, which is terrible, and anyone Demarius Randall's covering is wide open, which is usually a problem.
Usually we do jello shots on all Packer touchdowns until they run out. I had to do a jello shot today on first downs. That was heartbreaking for me to do that. It's gut-wrenching in the sense because you have to go home tonight and act like everything's okay, and really deep down you're feeling like everything's not okay.
And without a Packers Super Bowl,
we're trying to stay positive.
The fiancés still have their wedding to look forward to, but they still wonder why their jersey luck wore out.
It's clean, yeah, it's clean. I washed it.
Maybe that was a mistake.
Maybe it was a mistake.
Also, after this beatdown, some Packers fans are trying to find a sunny side to all of this. They said that they're very proud that the team was able to turn it around from the halfway point of the season, and they're looking forward to next year. Reporting from Waukesha, Jacob Kittelstadt, CBS 58 News.
Well, fans gave their perspective on Twitter. You could see this one from Carol Moore. She says, "My Packers lost their game tonight, but they came from behind to get where they were. And I'm so very proud of them," she says. "God bless them all." Christopher Peak tweeted, "As much as I love the Packers players, if Green Bay had a defense to go with that powerful offense, Rodgers would have that many championships." And thanks from Governor Scott Walker as well, who was at the game today.
Still ahead, a man survives a brush with death when the CBS 58 News at 9 returns the latest details after a Racine County home goes up in flames. And neighbors fighting some unsightly cell phone towers, but there's not much they can do. We hear from a local official about what they plan to do moving forward.
And for the 7th night in a row, we're starting to see a little bit of fog start to move in towards southeastern Wisconsin. We'll talk about the fog, plus temperatures are starting to cool down, and that means a return for a chance for snow. We'll let you know when it arrives in Ready Weather coming up next.